Hello and welcome to today's Coppice release stream. We're not actually going to be doing any Coppice development today because development on Coppice 2022.1 is complete and has been complete for a little while, so we're going to be doing some finishing touches for the release, which will be happening at 3 PM UK time, so 2 hours from now. And yeah, we're going to finish up a few things for the release, primarily writing the blog post, which I realised about 20 minutes before the stream that I have yet to write. And then we're going to work on Streamline for the rest of the stream, and at 3 PM we'll take a small break from that while I actually get Coppice out there. The actual app itself should release on its own, and once the blog post is written and in the CMS, that should work, but I need to upload parts of the website. I need to... what else do I need to do? Send out some emails, so we will be using our brand new NDA screen for that, because I don't want to show some stuff off. There are various other things that need to be done as part of a release, as well as sending out emails for that. I've got to send emails out on the mailing list, so I've got that written up, but I'll be doing that after the stream because I really want to avoid any of that appearing on stream because, again, user data. So yeah, so how is everyone in chat today? Let me know how you are, what you're up to, and if you're excited for Coppice being released. So we're going to head over to the main screen, and we have Markdown Pro open, which is what I use for writing most of my blog posts. I mean, it's a bit old and out of date, as you can see. It doesn't support dark mode, but it works, and so far I haven't found anything better. I mean, if anyone has any recommendations, I'd be happy to hear them, but for now, this is what worked. So we're going to be writing up the release post for Coppice and making sure that we cover everything and probably have some videos. I actually have a tweet thread already set up that I'm going to post, so we may reuse these videos in the blog post to show off the features and functionality. So we will see how that goes. So what to do? Coppice 2022.1 is now available for release. I've been working hard on this since the start of the year, focusing on improving functionality, which has the usefulness of image pages. I'm currently reading through the preview and release that I did for the previous version, 2021.2. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to get an idea of what sort of pattern I did. The problem with releasing is that you often forget how you did it in terms of all the additional stuff. So wanting to get that done, so talks about the page selector, link inspector, quality of life. Let's do rotation, cropping. Oh, yes. Load Coppice 22, not 2302, 2022.1 by going to Coppice, check for updates. To menu bar or by clicking button below. I've also, over the weekend, got quite a bit of stuff done in other areas. One thing I've done is I've written up a review of the Logitech Ergo K860, which I need to take some photos of, and that will be going up on my hilky.me blog. Possibly later this week, most likely some point next week. I'll probably get this sorted out over the weekend, but I've been writing that up, and I have also downloaded both Blender and Unity because I'm going to start playing around with those at some point. The intent is for the next few weeks to work on Streamline and get that to a point where I can use that for powering the music on this stream, and then we can just like keep chipping away at that over time once it's in a usable state. But then the Wednesday streams will be switching over to me learning Blender and Unity to actually build a better stream for you all, something that is a lot more visually interesting, a lot more interactive, and hopefully something that you want to stick around and watch. And it's always fun to build that stuff on stream and learn with you. Okay, so rotation. Going to drag an image in Coppice. Fine. Down. So you can now set images directly in Coppice. Cropping. Oh, you will also be hearing some new music. I have added some tracks from the excellent Heartbound soundtrack, which is released by Pirate Software, and I have been going through that, finding ones that I really like and want to listen to on the stream, because there's quite a large variety in there. But I've included some of them in the stream already, and hopefully over time I'll be expanding the stream playlist even more. But yeah, if you want to get that, I have a link in the About page on Twitch, or you can go to gopiratesoftware.com and find out about Heartbound there, and you can get the soundtrack on Steam. So yeah, that is a great addition, hopefully, to the music on the stream. So hopefully you enjoy it. So we've got rotation, cropping on the outside of image. Rotation is Cropping. Spots. Switch link more while editing each page. That's. Oh. Neat. Can now drag hotspots over section. Next pages. Fingers working in the wrong order. As the saying goes, I'm typing all the right keys, just not necessarily in the right order. I'm really excited about this feature. So this is really about why I've wanted this image linking in, because things such as for the world building aspect, if you're doing a story, having a map that links out, I'm going to be using this for my own D&D stuff, where I'm going to be able to have the maps and have those maps link out, maybe to other maps or to other places. You could also be planning out home renovation. Unfortunately, this was a bit too late for the office, on my redesign of my office, but I had actually planned to use Coppice to build up a floor plan and to actually put down like various colours and stuff in Coppice and furniture and stuff like that, so I could plan out exactly what I want to do and what options I had. Unfortunately, wasn't quite ready for that, but that is one option I had for Coppice. Instead, I had to use a plethora of other apps to do that, rather than just a single app, so that is the floor of Coppice. Okay, so I think that will do. Hold it. Hi, Sound Assassin. It's going pretty well. I've just finished writing up this blog post for Coppice 2022.1 being released, and yeah, I'm just getting it all ready to go, and hopefully in about 90 minutes or so, it will be released after about 4 months of development. So I'm pretty excited about that. How are things going with you? How's your day been? Are you up to much today? Have you been up to much today? Did some art this morning, but not much other than that. Oh, cool. What sort of art did you do? Is it just drawing, painting? Oh, 3D modeling. Cool. Are you modeling anything like what were you getting up to 3D modeling wise? Because that's something I'm going to be starting learning at some point. I've finally downloaded Blender, and at some point on streams I'm actually going to start learning to 3D model. Well, learning again, because I used to do it a lot when I was younger, but it was very different software and I haven't done it in about a decade. So I know what I'm doing, but I'm going to be I don't know what I'm doing with Blender. And it works very differently to the software I previously used, but the software I previously used is very expensive now. Even though I can afford it, for the amount that I'm going to be using it, I would probably rather just learn Blender. Oh, cool. Fan art of Dog Swift. Yeah, it's always fun seeing people doing fan art of Dog Swift. Unfortunately, I'm not good enough at hand drawing to do anything like that, but maybe once I get 3D modeling done, it will be working. But I mean, the thing I'm aiming for is to make a 3D version of my little robot animator. So this is why I'm hoping for Doig to release his tutorial soon, because I want to be able to use to basically build my stream to be something similar, with like 3D character moving around and so on. And a lot of it is stuff that I can figure out, but all like the Twitch integration, all that side of things is stuff that I could figure it out. But if I have Doig with a tutorial telling me how he did it, then I can work it out myself and get it going faster. So Oh, you usually use Maya. I've tried using Maya, and it didn't. Like a lot of the 3D programs that I've tried using have always seemed a lot more complex to what I was used to using. I don't know if it's just because the interface was different or they're built in different ways. Maya's one of those that I never really grasped, though. I mean, my dad and my brother work a lot in 3D, and I believe they've used Maya an awful lot in their work. So they do that a lot. I mean, the app I use, that's because it's an app that actually has an awful lot of history. Which is, when the page loads, Strata 3D. Now, Strata 3D is pretty good because it tries to mimic the UI and workflow of Adobe apps. So if you are coming from like Photoshop or Illustrator or something like that, it is pretty good for that sort of thing and for doing sort of product renders and stuff like that. The problem is, well, the first problem is that for Mac users, the driver requires macOS Mojave or older. macOS Mojave, well, let's see. macOS 12 came out last year, 11 came out 2 years ago, Catalina came out 3 years ago. So 4 years ago, it's taken them a while because it was 32-bit only, and they've got new beta now. And the other issue is that it's $20 a month plus a $50 license fee, or it's $600 for a single user license, which for like paid 3D programs is fairly reasonable, and if you're doing it full time and you're earning money from it, okay, but I'm not. But the key bit of history for Strata and why I liked using it is that it actually was the program used, or a very early version of it called Strata Vision, was a program used for a game called Myst. And it was what they used to do all of the 3D graphics and rendering for the original version of Myst. So it was one of those things where I saw a tutorial video of that, and so they talked about, oh, they were using Strata Vision. And then it turned out that my dad used Strata Vision at work. Oh, Myst, you will know Myst. I search for Myst and just bring up the images, and there you are. Myst. Best-selling game of the 90s, and at the time the best-selling game of all time. And it's had so many versions over the years, but it is one of those that keeps getting updated. It's all real-time graphics now. I mean, I'm still of the opinion that that is Exile. If I search for Riven, I still consider Riven, which is the sequel, one of the best looking games of all time. And bearing in mind that these images, when they rendered them, I'm not even sure they're 480p. But I mean, this was like 1997. And I think, and these are all pre-rendered graphics, but to me, like for the time, these look fantastic, and even today they look pretty good to me. It may be a bit of nostalgia in there, but a large part of it is just the design work they put into it, the texture work they put into it. You can see that it is sort of not like necessarily up to the standards of today, but I mean, this pre-rendered for 1997 isn't too far off what a lot of games were doing not that long ago real time. So it was such a game, and it's one game that I really wish they would remake, do a like they've done with Myst, where it's rather than being the point and click, you can actually just move around freely. If they completely remade this, I would throw so much money at it, because it is such a fantastic. Yeah, I mean, look at that for 1997 pre-rendered game graphics. It's showing what you can, just how much you can do if you get your lighting right and you get your textures right, just how much you can do in 3D, and especially if you get your design right. Because I think one of the key things they got for this is one of the designers for everything was actually someone at Disney, who I think was like one of the lead like environment designers for Aladdin, the movie, and they brought him on to become the like environment and world designer for Riven, and it really tells, because it is such a fantastic looking game. I think some of these may have been upscaled to be higher resolution, but yeah, so that's why I used Strata. But yeah, Blender does seem more versatile, so I mean, I'm not sure it's necessarily more versatile as much as it's used in a lot more places, or rather it's more widely used because it is free. I mean, Maya's used to do like feature films and a lot of high-end video game work and stuff like that, so it can certainly do a lot. I mean, Maya usually has been the go-to when I hear people talk about like doing high-end 3D work. It's usually Maya that I hear about. I mean, in the 90s it was always, you had, I think, not the 90s, the 2000s, you had Maya, you had Maya, you had Cinema 4D, and was it Lightwave? Light something. That, I think it was Lightwave, and that was the one they did to do all the 3D graphics on all the Star Trek shows. So that was pretty good. Oh yeah, they remade. I mean, they've remade Myst quite a few times. There was the original version, then they did an updated version, then they did Real Myst, which was doing it in 3D, which actually has one of the best, my favourite game trailers of all time. And then they've done a few versions like iPad and stuff like that, but then they've done a new version of it. So the latest version of it is really good, and it's just one of those games that, even though I know how the puzzles work, even though I know how to go through, it's just nice to go through it again and relive that world and just see it and explore it and see what has changed, because it's very much something that you just want to go and see the world of it and explore it, even though you know it well, just to see what they have improved and how much more realistic they've made it. Yeah, there are a lot of 3D programs out there now. I mean, there have always been a lot. And I think it's just a case of finding one that works for you, because they're all pretty pretty well featured, so there's not really much that you can go wrong with if you're using them. It's just finding the one that clicks best with you, or that you can afford. Though when it comes to which is the best one that you can afford, it's usually the answer is something like Blender. Right, I need to up this and then bring up a new browser window and go to my backend system. Go log. I completely forgot that I added the views column in here and never wrote the code to actually track the number of views on the blog post. Okay. Oh, and that also reminds me. I was meant to do a monthly dev diary and I never did after January, so I'll have to pick that up again. Right, so Coppice 2022.1 released. It is out. Got there, and we want it to come out at 15.00. So what made you pick Maya for doing your own 3D stuff? Is it just what you learnt, or is it what you use for a job, or like what put you down that path? No worries. Talk to you later then. I'll probably be streaming for the next several hours, so if you want to come back after you've grabbed some food, then I should still be here. Oh, it's what they taught you. Yeah, that's usually the way things go. You usually go for what you learnt in school. Once you know how to use something, it's a lot easier just to stick with it. Unless something significantly better comes around. Alright, let's have a look. Image linking, rotation, cropping, profit. So... log. Have anything video? I'm sure I do some. Coppice 2021.1. So if I go here, 1.1. There we are. Video. That in there. .1 not MOV. Right, so if I create this, because I have set this to be published in the future, it won't actually appear. I just go to /blog. You see, it doesn't appear here. It's not going to appear in the RSS feed. However, oh, the 2022 release. Then it shows up here so that I can actually preview this. So what I'm actually going to stick that there. This. So we want the height. If it's 646, what is the actual height? Well, 2560 divided by 6 is oh 6 not point 2560 by 4 640 1440 or 1440 by 3 640 by change that to 640 6 oh false.
Sons and daughters, you can fall asleep on sheets of gold and wake up as a pauper. We all get old, we all slow down as the walls they close. We fall, we drown in our need some breathing space.
Bit annoyed as I ordered a monitor arm last week and it was meant to show up on Friday, and as my general look with working with delivery companies goes, it did not arrive. It was meant to arrive by 6 PM on Friday and it did not. And it was meant to arrive by end of day on Friday, and it did not. And there is currently 0 tracking information on it. It's just pending delivery date, and the shipment information has been sent to FedEx. So I have no idea when it is. Okay, so these all work. Okay. That's working for downloading Coppice. Okay, so that is all set up. So, what I am going to do I am going to take a rather quick break because I just need to run downstairs and sort something out, and when I get back, we will spend an hour 45 minutes or so starting on Streamline design, and then a bit after that we will actually get Coppice released and everything sent out. And then after that we'll continue with Streamline design and hopefully getting onto some planning where we actually start properly filling out some tickets, and then for the next few weeks working on those tickets. So I will see you all in a few minutes.
Just another sunny day.
Okay, I am back. So let's get into doing some design work. So we want to open Photoshop. I want to open Streamline UI. Right, so what I want to do is actually have a look. I realise my iPad has not been plugged in this whole time. Have what? Well, I'm trying to remember what I had set up. So we have our controls: play, pause, next, previous, volume. We've got our progress slider. We currently have a duck emoji for ducking, but we will change that. Alright, so you got your queue of songs down the right hand side, which for the moment we've just basically copy pasted from the music app. And then a stream, you're going to have a title, you're going to have a list of sections. And the sections are... You're going to be able to choose playlist. I'm going to set it up as being one or more playlists, but visually it's just going to be a single playlist. And the reason we're going to do that is that I'm unsure as to whether multiple playlists will be useful, but it's always easy to have something designed for multiple things and only use it for one, rather than take something that is designed for one thing and change it to work on multiple. Right. So duration. and start time. I think start time we don't need in this setup. Because the idea is that you can manually switch to something. What we do want is next section. Or do we? You're gonna have a section, another playlist, and stuff about whether it shuffles that playlist, whether it repeats when it gets to the end, whether it crossfades between playlists or waits until end. So we should be probably switching behavior. Wait until song change immediately. You can filter that section by tag, so maybe you've got a playlist. Need a filter on a section. But you can just add the filter on the playlist. We're going to get rid of the start time. I'm going to keep the duration on as an optional thing because that is something useful to have. And then you're just going to have a list of sections. Sections that you can play through, and then you can do it. So, hey Sinister, no, you have not missed the release. The release is happening at 3 PM UK time, so in about 55 minutes. So we've just got a blog post ready and done. All the marketing materials and stuff should be done. So in just under an hour, I'll be releasing, and in the meantime we're working out some design stuff for another app that I'm working on that is currently the code name is Streamline, which is a music app designed to help in stuff like streaming or anything where you want like multiple playlists and you want to be able to switch between either playlists or sections of stuff. So the idea is that you'd add your tracks, set up your playlist, set up a stream, and the stream can contain sections, and the sections can say, okay, I want to play this playlist, but I can mark whether it should shuffle, repeat, how you should switch between sections on it, potentially a filter, potentially how long it should play for. And the idea is you should be able to set things going and then either manually like change things, just drag them on. So it's just working out exactly what we want. So I'm just going to okay, time-lapse movie, export, send to iMac. There we go. Okay, so we want to have a look through this, because this is what I drew. So you have tracks. Okay, so we changed that. Is it compatible with stuff like Spotify? At the initially, no. Like, I was looking at stuff like that. Initially, my idea was make it work with like the music app, but that's a bit iffy. So to begin with, you'll just be able to drag tracks in. Now, the idea of having this library thing up here is that hopefully I'll be able to add other libraries in future. So maybe if Spotify has like an API for doing this stuff, I could add Spotify, or I could add Apple Music, or various things like that. But initially, it's something where you'll have to download the music files and then drag them in, which generally works okay for streaming, because generally the sort of stuff that you can play on the stream is stuff that you're buying somewhere like Bandcamp or something like that. Or like the song you're listening to now, which is from Pirate Software's Heartbound, from the soundtrack there. Bought it off Steam. So, I'm trying to make sense of what I drew. In fact, when did I draw it? Is there a date on it? No. So this was before, when I was thinking you'd had a playlist that would have tracks and sections, and then I decided to split up into having playlists and streams, and the sections have a playlist. Then it was how you split stuff up. Actually, why am I trying to make sense of this? What else is the whole point of me creating a YouTube channel with the VODs of all of my streams? and me streaming this development. If not, in fact, I don't even need to go to the YouTube channel. Streaming, VODs. th of April. Would you look at that? So we have all this. I have realised. Let's go. It's not coming through. If I go over here, let's redirect this. Yeah. Switch back. It'll switch back, and you can either, if you want to have something, it can split. So hopefully you can the current one, or it can come after it. But it's a question of whether this idea of splitting that in two, which that should be B, because then C is there. So it's a question of whether we want this concept of splitting this in two and inserting something in, or whether we want the other concept of you've got a base and you overlay on it. So I don't know if anyone in chat has any thoughts on that. This is the benefit of streaming. You can go back and figure out what on earth you were thinking several weeks ago. It seems like these are the two real options. Because remember, we came to a decision, but I can't remember what that decision is. How does the old storyboards 2 work? In what way? So how are you doing today, Sinister? Are you up to much? Have you been up to much? Okay, so it has a timeline, because I'm thinking some of a timeline here, but I mean, like I said, the problem is this is kind of open-ended in its timeline. And the key thing is the timeline is just giving you the flavour. The actual list of songs will be shown in the queue. The source of truth is the queue, so you'll be able to override and move stuff around. So you may have something, if you were to have, say, 2 sections back to back, you may have a song that is from here, but when you get to the queue and you've got your list of songs, say this is the first section's worth of songs, and then we're switching to here, you may decide, actually, I want that one to go into there. So therefore, that's moved up there, that will be played, but the sections are still essentially the same. And the queue will only update when a song plays, and then it will sort of, anything afterwards, it will start actually, like it will delete that, and then you'll get to this song here, which has been moved up, so then it'll play through that, and then it'll play through that, and then that, and that, and then if you start chopping and changing sections around, then it will obviously... Part of the reason I built this is every time I start the stream play, and then I'll have my main section again. And what you could do is, I could set it up where, like in my case, I would have an intro, and then I would have a main. So, intro, main. And that's basically what my stream would look like. But then I would have other sections, this is the actual timeline, as it were. And what I would have is you would have a list of other sections down here, and I could click and drag this, and I could either, for example, insert this into here, so I wanted to play after the main section, so that is just like you're building it normally, or as the main section is playing, I could drag it onto the main section, and what that would do is basically add it after main. But if main is repeat, but what it would basically do is say either finish the current song, or you either finishing the current song or crossfading immediately to it, and then it will go back to main. So it's like basically doing a split down the middle and saying, okay, finish up with main, switch to this one, and then you go back to main. Yeah, that's what I'm going to have. There's going to be so the queue is the track list, and that is basically going to be like this playing next thing here. So this is what I'm basing the queue on. You're going to just have this play. But the key thing is working out how do we want the stream to work. So that's the thing that I'm trying to work out. Do we want it where your stream, you have an underlying thing where if you had 0 sections, it's literally just playing through a bunch of playlists that you have. And it's just saying, I have selected playlist 2 and 4, and I want them to shuffle. Okay, I'm going to have playlist 2 and playlist 4 completely shuffle. Or if I don't shuffle it, it's going to go through playlist 2, then through playlist 4, and then it's going to go back to playlist 2 and playlist 4, and it's going to repeat until you stop. Or do I not want to have that and just say, if I want to have playlist 2 and playlist 4, and then I create a section that contains playlist 2 and playlist 4. Of like a fundamentally underlying root set the playlist for the root of the stream, and then drag it onto B, and what it will do is it will split B, it will switch to playing C, and then go back to B once C has finished. Or if C, for example, is looping and it's a manual thing, then your timeline will end up being you get B. It would immediately switch to C, that's looping, but you've got B again there, and you manually have to switch to the next thing. Because you may want the battle to just continue and continue and continue until you get back to B. Ah, that is a fair point. Do you want timeline? Okay, now we're getting to the point. This is a bit... do it as scenes. Then you could say, what happens when this scene finishes? Does it repeat? Or does it stop? Or does it go to another scene? Okay, so if I just clear this, what you could have, if you've got a scene, and scene A is currently enabled, and this is my intro, and maybe I just have it where you have an option of, when scene A finishes, it goes to scene B. But when scene B finishes, its finish action is to loop. So you get rid of the timeline entirely, you have the scene stuff like you say, it's just a scene can say, once I finish, go to another scene. I think that actually, I think you've managed to unlock it there. But anyway, okay, so, thank you, Pass Me. Your purpose here is done. So, what we want is ending action, which is either going to be stop. I'm going to get rid of repeats because it should stop, should repeat, or it should go to scene. Sections renamed to scenes. And then, yeah, it can stop, it can repeat, or it can go to scene. And the way I would set it up for my own stream is I would have like an intro, which would then, has its ending action, go to just a regular playlist. I may not even need the filter on the scene because the filter can be on the playlist. One thing you could do is a playlist could filter another playlist. You could have like a playlist where it's just manually you've thrown stuff in there, but then you can have a smart playlist which says take this playlist and filter it down, or take the library and filter it down, and so on. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we need to design how this is going to work. Okay. Oh, before I forget, Sinister, I was actually talking earlier with sound assessing because I have downloaded some things. I have downloaded... Where is it? I have downloaded something. And I'm not going to start playing around with it just yet, but I have it downloaded. I have also downloaded something else. So I am preparing for the stream update where I can start playing around with building a stream in Unity and in Blender, which should be a lot of fun in the future. But for now, we're going to be focusing on Streamline. So the plan is next few weeks work on Streamline, get the design stuff done, just play it and get it to a point where I can power the stream with it, and then from that point on I may spend a week doing streams just playing around with Blender and Unity and learning it. And then I'll get back into Coppice on the main streams and leave the Wednesday streams for, and maybe the weekend streams doing Blender and Unity stuff and building up the stream. Because I've had some ideas for how I want it to work. I want my little robot to go around an environment, and I've been trying to think about what sort of environment he can be in. And part of me kind of wants to have him be almost like a robot. It's sort of kind of meta, but a robot inside a computer. So the environment he'll be in is that he will have like a room where he can go around and there's a CPU there and various chips and stuff like that, and he's using them as like furniture. So like he has a desk made out of a CPU, maybe a sofa made out of RAM chips or something like that. That's one thing that I'm thinking about. The other one is potentially like a spaceship, because then you could have redeems where the spaceship can just warp to different locations and appear. So yeah, because the spaceship idea, I like it, of having going around a spaceship and chat can change things on the spaceship. And then I can have things like when people raid, they can arrive at the airlock or something like that, and we can go and greet them at the airlock, or they can appear, we can have like a view screen where they will appear on the view screen or something like that as entering. So yeah, I mean the spaceship really does work well because there's lots of things you can do with that, and the robot does look like a bit of a futuristic robot going around. I mean there's also potentially stuff that you could do, funny stuff like where does the ship have no crew and where does it just have a robot? Build up a lore and a story for the whole thing. Plus then I get to design a spaceship, which is pretty cool. Whereas thinking about that you've got a right, you've got a captain's chair, but the robot, as you go around, the robot always makes sure that the captain's chair is rotated away from the camera, so you can't actually see what is in the captain's chair. Pretty dark and morbid. And then one day you do actually see what's in the captain's chair, and it's just a little stuffed animal. And it's just his little teddy bear that he's put on there as a captain. I mean, this is the thing, doing it all 3D, it's going to make it a lot more fun and interesting, because at the moment the stream is a bit dry. And this just lets me get to play around with stuff, do a bit more visual stuff, and get people interested and build interactivity into the stream. Because some of my favourite streams to watch are ones like Dog Swift. There's another great stream, Finite Singularity, who does a lot of programming stuff, but they have some. In fact, let's do a shout out for so they do some really cool stuff on their stream, and they're going to be doing some YouTube videos explaining how it works, and they have stuff like you can do effects on them, so you can change their colour, and it's like camera capturing them, but it will change colour. They've got lots of pre-recorded stuff, so I think they've got like a green screen behind them, but they have it where when you do a hydrate check, they've done like a video of them, and they've got lots of clones. So they've done like a video of them bringing out water and pouring water at the desk. There's like a disappointed dad one where he's wearing like a dressing gown and he comes out the door and looks at stuff, or a pirate version where they come out and criticize the code, and these are all just like video recordings they've done. There's stuff, they've got like a chalkboard behind them, and messages will appear on there. And then the best thing of all is they've got a game called Chalk Boom, and what happens is people can like bet channel points on it. You say, oh, I'm going to wager on red team, blue team, and then you end up with these little you join it by doing like exclamation point me once like the betting phase is done, and you can basically go on and you get a little dot that's moving around the screen, and it's got a power bar beneath it, and you type exclamation point boom to cause it to like boom the chalk, and it will actually start like an expanding circle appear, and it's between red team and blue team to who can fill most of the chalkboard with their colour. And it's really cool to play on stream, especially as you've got to account for the latency. So it's really cool that they've been able to do that. I mean, it's something that I probably should mention to Doig for him to take a look at, because I think it will give him a load of ideas for things to do on the stream. But yeah, it just opens up so many cool little things to play around with, and lets me play around with some other stuff that I otherwise don't really have a reason to play around with. I don't really have a reason to play with Blender or do 3D stuff these days. I don't have a reason to play with Unity, anything like that, whereas all this will give me reason to play with those. So yeah, there's lots of cool stuff there, so we'll see what happens. Now, the thing that's probably going to be slightly disappointing, especially with like Blender, I mean, it won't matter too much because I'm not going to be doing too much rendering, but in fact, I never actually checked that exact thing. Blender bench, open data.blender. I was looking, just double checking that my current iMac is not. Oh, I can get rid of. Just checking that Blender would not be technically faster on my iMac now because it's got a 580 in it, and the Mac Studio is not meant to be that amazing at GPU rendering. Because if you look at CPU and you look at like the M1 Ultra, where is it? So you're getting all like your Threadrippers and stuff like that. You got 5950X here, but then you get the M1 Ultra. So that is about on par with a 12900K. 12900KS around there. Bit slower than a 24 core Threadripper, and it's slower than like the Ryzen stuff. So the M1 Ultra, CPU wise, is really good, which all the benchmarks show. But when you get to the GPU, you go to page 1. Where are we? Page 2. There we are, the M1 Ultra. And that's probably the 64 core, which is slower than a laptop RTX 3050. So, my new Mac, let's say it is this. It's probably not going to be, because there's probably going to be... Okay, that's the max there. If that's 700, that's about 1,000. Let's say it's probably going to be about 800, 900-ish. Because I didn't go for the maxed out GPU, because I don't have a massive use for it. So that's going to be about 800, 900-ish. So around... like an RX 6600. Meanwhile, my gaming PC is all the way up here on the first page with 2427. So it's going to be one of those things where if I ever needed to do a full render of something, like if I wanted a fully rendered cutscene or something, while the Mac Studio is going to be great for actually doing the work, it's going to be a case of it's probably going to be better me transferring it over to my gaming PC and rendering it on my gaming PC, because the GPU is going to be like, what would that'd be like, depending on the actual thing, 2.5 to 4 times faster. So it's one of the disappointments. I mean, hopefully it's just an optimization thing. So hopefully, like I say, hopefully it's optimization, because I mean, Blender 3.1 is the first one to officially support Apple Silicon and Metal. I mean, technically it does support Metal on like AMD CPUs as well. Not CPUs, AMD GPUs as well on Intel Macs. So it's just one of those things of hopefully optimization improves it, because if you get stuff that is properly optimized for the M1 GPUs, they are very fast and they can compete with like a 3090. It's just they work so differently to others, and especially because they don't have ray tracing cores, which especially for 3D rendering is rather important these days, because considering what you're doing is generally ray tracing, having hardware accelerated ray tracing stuff is always going to be beneficial. Okay, so we've got the queue over here. So I think what we're going to do is just have a grid of scenes. Because what someone pointed out here is that I'm thinking of this as something that's, oh, you can do it and you've got a stream, because you're going to be doing a stream, and maybe you want one because you've got like, a personal stream, maybe you've got a different type of stream, so maybe one's an art stream and a gaming stream, and you want different music setups there. But what they pointed out to me is that this would also be great if you're running like a D&D game, as some other RPG game. So you can basically have something set up where you can have all your scenes for all your different music for RPGs and stuff like that. I've kind of done about stuff like ray tracing. You don't need to worry about that with Eevee. So is it Eevee? Eevee's one of the rendering engines, isn't it? Oh, it's the real-time rendering engine. Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not planning on doing a lot of ray tracing. Because most of this is going to be going into Unity anyway, so we'll see how it all works and functions. But I mean, thankfully, a lot of stuff is finally getting proper Apple Silicon support. So Blender has it, OBS has it coming, so that should hopefully appear at some point soon. And when it does, we can when it does, it should hopefully run faster. I mean, it should already do the GPU acceleration for encoding, but it's more the CPU side of things. But the fact is, the CPU is that much faster that even running in Rosetta, it's not going to be that much of a performance hit. But yeah, I'll be starting Blender in a few weeks and getting used to it. So I may be asking you for tips and tricks at that point. Right, let's get into... Got your view, which we will tweak, but we're just leaving that now. I'm gonna hide... No, in fact, let's lift these up. Shifts up there to that. Let's reduce the size to 14. Let them reduce the size to 14 points, and then I have that. Let's get rid of the duck. Okay. So what I want, I'm thinking is something similar to shortcuts for doing these sections. So it would just be a grid of coloured things that you can switch between. Because I think that would probably be the best way of doing it. So, I'm looking at it. Radio. B. So we do a rectangle. Now you're probably not going to have too many. Oh, just add to this open. In fact, what we probably want, where is the text edit? System red is that colour. So for this, let's make it system. Okay. And what we're going to do is we are going to add a stroke. Bit of an inner shadow. That to be black. 2 pixels. Be black. Then in the shadow we want 2. Let's not. Gradient overlay. Gradient overlay is going to be white to black. Be video, but we don't want to align with the layer. Using overlays work. So what we're going to want is gradient. That. Overlay. Yeah, let's get that. Oh, that's right. That. Do that. Back to oval. Do that, but let's also throw on another gradient overlay. Unlinear. Go to back. Overlay. Maybe. Bit. And that's looking a bit better. Okay. Oh, Megan, thanks for subscribing. How was your stream? I saw you were streaming earlier. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch it because I started streaming at the same time. Yes, this is the new app. It is an app for managing stream playlists. Stream Element seems to be very slow today. I've seen that on some other streams. So yeah, this is my new app. So the whole idea behind this app is basically you can throw a bunch of tracks in, and at the moment you're going to have to get like the MP3s or whatever to throw into the library. You can then add them to playlists, which can be like ordered how you want, or you can just throw everything in there, and then you'll be able to create these streams, and the streams will have sections. So a section, for example, when I'm starting the stream, I don't want anything with vocals playing, so I could have a section that points to a playlist that doesn't have any vocals, and once it finishes it can go to the next stream, which contains my entire stream playlist. And maybe something happens and I want maybe like a slow stream, like a slow set of music playing. Well, I could have it where I've got another section that I can bring in that will then go and play a slow section of music. I can also potentially have like use this for stuff like not just streaming, but you could use it for like if you're doing like RPGs, like D&D or something. You could have like your main playlist and then section. Then you could have like a tavern section or a battle section. I mean, I'm calling them sections. They're technically, I'm referring them now to scenes. So you'd have different scenes that you can go through. So you can have different streams that have different collections of scenes, but they can all use the same playlists for different. So it's basically a music player that's designed for playback, where you can move between things, and you can have it different things when they end, or when you switch. You can have it like wait until the current song is finished playing to switch, or have it switch immediately with a crossfade. And it's all trying to solve effectively the problem of like Music App is a bit iffy for doing this sort of thing because its shuffle isn't particularly great and you can't make it much smarter. So that's what I'm trying to build. The other thing is that I'm going to have it where you'll be able to have a UI where you can put like what is currently playing, and you'll be able to have like the progress and what is playing and stuff. I mean, I may even try it so that you could actually just recreate the UI up here in that UI and have that be the default. But the idea is that you can have that UI, have it as a window, and then you could do like a window capture in like OBS or whatever software you're using for streaming, so that you can have like you're now playing in there, but it can like stream through, it can show you the current progress and all stuff like that. So you can have your own like fully customizable widget that is just a window capture that you put into your stream. So that is what I'm basically going for. It's just something that I've been wanting to build as a tool for myself, and then realised other people may have use for it, so I'm probably going to put it onto the Mac App Store eventually and just charge. Maybe you can play for 20 minutes or something before you need to restart the app or something like that, and you can pay however much to unlock it, so it will just keep playing. But yeah, that is the app, and I have just realized the time. And the reason I have realized the time is because in, let's see, about 6 minutes, Coppice is going live. So I need to prepare a few things. One thing I need to prepare is set up the website. Yeah, I can't remember whether Rogue Amoeba, do they have like a time limit, or is it degrades the audio after a certain amount of time? But I seem to remember there was an app, like a developer out there, where they had an audio app, and after a certain period of time it would start adding like static and stuff to the audio, rather than just having the cutoff. But I'm probably just going to do the cutoff, where it's just like you can play for 20 minutes and then you got to quit the app, and if someone really wants to, well, they can quit the app and start it up again. But I'm not planning on charging ridiculous money for it, so hopefully it's enough where people actually do it. But I mean, there's lots of potential for it, and if it doesn't sell, well, it's something I find useful, and I'm having fun playing around with it. But yeah, I mean, part of it is also to try and, ironically, not have to use some Rogue Amoeba software, because one thing that would be nice if I can get it working is a virtual, like have it where it will output to like a virtual microphone, so that you can have various audio software, like various software such as OBS or other streaming software, take it in as a mic input, because at the moment I have Music app where I have Rogue Amoeba's sound source that redirects it to another app called SWB Audio. Is it SWB Audio app? And that creates a virtual input and output. So sound source is redirecting music to the virtual output, which then funnels that to the virtual input, which OBS then reads in. So that's it. Now, where SWB Audio app and this setup is useful is that I can hook other stuff up. So like I can just switch sound source and have voiceover point to it, or I could have I've had QuickTime pointed to it. So it does have benefits, but it would be nice just for the music to have it where I could just have it separate and I only need to open SWB Audio app when I need to do those other things, especially as there seems to be a bug in macOS where certain apps in the status bar make it so that when you do show desktop, you cannot click on items on your desktop. And one of the apps that seems to cause this is SWB Audio app. I'm pretty sure it's a bug in macOS because someone else has a similar issue with a different app that is a status bar app, but yeah. Anyway, let's get this release on the road. So I'm going to click sync now on connect server. But yeah, I think if there was like a virtual mic or something, that would definitely be locked behind the paywall functionality. Like that would be a paid feature. But I think it's something that would get people to pay for the app. So, but that would require a lot more looking into how audio works on the Mac to get that working. But I mean, the other key thing I want is that I want to add automation. So I'd want to add shortcut support. I'd want to build a Stream Deck plugin and so on. Yes, Oliver, it is going live at 3 PM. The actual app should be like that, and the blog post should be scheduled to go live at 3 PM. Everything else, like sending out emails and stuff, I have to do manually. Oh dear, how's that synced properly? Let's go to Coppice and have a look. Go. Oh no, all the pro stuff is up. So we have our new page linking thing, which is the same at the beginning, but it should then switch to... There we are. Showing a demo Coppice Pro. Upgrade now, so it's showing all the auto, like the cool auto linking functionality you get. The improved image linking is not there. Okay, so that one. Pro. That is there. Polygon hotspot. Upload that. Okay, reload and see if that works now. Oh. It is broken. Why is it broken? Oh, there. That is working there. Let's delete and re-upload from scratch. Hi Mr. B, welcome to the stream. Thank you for subscribing again. 3 months. It is much appreciated. Right, so we have that up. So if I reload this, there we go. Now it is showing the polygon hotspots. Okay, so that is all good. If we go to log. Okay, why is that not showing up? Is 9th of May. Why has that not updated? Where are we? Bring that up, and this is where we see the panic of how versions 22.1 should be live 2022 or 5 or 9 at 1400. Okay, I click download. What on earth is going on? Version is up there. I wonder. Because the blog post isn't appearing either. Let's change the blog post. 1400. I wonder, because the server is in France. There we go. Okay, so the server is not running on GMT. So that is why it's not showing up. So if I change that to 1400 and then go back to features, there we go, 2022.1. And if I click and download, that has downloaded 2022.1. Coppice 2022.1 is released. And I have to remember that the servers are on French. Well, they're on Central European time. Oh no, wait. They are on GMT. They're just... my code does not take into account daylight savings time. That is why. That is why I was confused. That is something to possibly fix at some point. So, it is out, which means that I get to use this. Ooh. There we go. Thank you very much, Oliver. And for those of you who are also developers in the chat, Oliver writes for various places, including and especially iMore. So, Megan, Mr. B, you are both iOS developers. So Oliver is someone to talk to, send press releases and so on about your apps. He's always looking for new apps and to help developers get information out there. So be sure to give him a shout on Twitter and so on. And Oliver, be sure to check out Megan and Misha B's streams. They do iOS design and development and so on. So they're pretty great developers. They've been doing it longer than I have, and they have really good setups and really good streams. So it's always great to watch their streams when I can and to see what they're up to, because they do some pretty great stuff. So let's have a look at this. Hey, it's always good to see it come out with the press. To see the press come out. So thank you very much for posting that, Oliver, and thanks for the congrats, and hope the school run goes well. Yes, next thing is I need to send out the where are we? Oh, first thing I need to send out my tweet. Hopefully send correctly. Please do, because they've got videos on, so hopefully this all goes well. Okay. So, like, going out. Come on. Post them all. This is my first time releasing live on stream, so I mean it's been quite a good journey, because I started the stream as part of this release, so I hadn't got very far into this release before I actually started streaming. Okay, so the tweet thread is up, so if I go to twitter.com/Coppice app, here we are. So we've got image rotation, which has been crunchified by Twitter's encoding. Then we have cropping, which oddly hasn't been crunchified by Twitter's encoding. Then we have image linking. And we have finally our smart, our auto linking. So that is all up, and I can now okay, so that is done. Right, so one thing I'm going to do is just bring up my secret thing, because I need to open mail. And I don't want it to appear on stream. And once it is open, I have a bunch of draft emails I am sending out. In fact, what I might do is I might add so sending press release and some stuff out to press. So, and I gradually grow this over time. So I send to places like so I sent to I sent to Oliver, because Oliver is fantastic at looking at the releases and getting information out up onto iMore and talking about it and sharing stuff from developers. I mean, this is the key thing. The press want to work with you to get your apps out there, because it gives them stuff to write about, stuff to review. They love sharing new apps, updated apps, and so on. So in many ways, the press are your friends in getting your app out there. But it is just a case of making sure that you're writing up a press release. Having a press kit is absolutely vital, because that gives them all the information they need if they want to review it. Gives them resources in terms of images. If anyone's interested, I can show off my press kit and let you see what it involves, because they are absolutely essential to build and they don't take that long. And I have done something a little unique with my press kit, which is quite fun. Right, and that off. Off. Okay, so they should hopefully have all sent. Sent. Yes. So hopefully we'll get some more press. So I can bring this back. Okay, so let's show off my press kit then. Show you what it involves. Improved apps, Coppice, press. So press kit. Now the first thing is press kit. Anyone can download it. It's available at coppiceapp.com/presskit.zip, and all it does is it contains all the stuff that a reviewer may need. So you have a review guide, and this basically gives information such as the URL, just some information about Coppice, so just a quick blurb about what the app is. So it's a new Mac app to help you cultivate your thoughts and ideas, takes these thoughts and ideas and lets you lay them out on an infinitely expanding canvas, allowing you to find the relationships between them and more easily reference them later on. Then you get some straight into the meat of it. What does it run on? So it runs on the Mac, macOS 10.15 later, and can be downloaded from here. Then there's how Coppice works. So I give a bit of information about what the core concepts are. I also mentioned that it's also available as a Coppice document, which I will show you later. Also, you can find a sample document in the help menu. So pointing people through how to use things. Pricing and availability. So where can people get it from? So I have the link available again, the link to the website again, what the free version gives, and then I talk about Coppice Pro. I'm highlighting key stuff such as the name Coppice Pro and the price, what you get in it, various useful links. So the website Coppice Pro if you need support, the blog, the Twitter and MCube Software, any contact info, so contacting me at email and Pilkey. I'm happy to arrange calls. If press ever want to do like a phone call with me to discuss things or a one-to-one thing, then that's great. It was fantastic working with Mac Stories. They are absolutely brilliant with their reviews. I worked with John Voorhees there, where I was doing an email back and forth during the beta and sending him stuff, and he was asking me questions and stuff like that. And it definitely wasn't you're talking with the press and influencing it. It was like they want back and forth because they want to give as accurate a representation of your app as possible. And I got a fantastic review on Mac Stories, which had pros and cons of Coppice, things that were missing and things that needed improving, a few bugs that they found, and it was a completely honest review. And honestly, that's what you want. If you are building a good product, you want it to be an honest review, because reviews are one of the ways that you find out, what have I missed? What have I overlooked? What can I do better? So it's great to do that, to talk with the press. I mean, I'm far from the best at doing press stuff, but it's great to have it out there and to be able to talk to people in press. And then I have an FAQ, so who's it for, and giving some case studies. Like, who is actually going to use your app? Well, that's something that you should be asking yourself, but it's something press want to know. So students wanting to keep notes as they study a new subject. Novelists who want to keep track of plots and worlds they're building. Journalists collecting information for a story. Project managers who need to organise their next big project. Questions such as, does it support Apple Silicon? Which is very important for a Mac app. Are there plans for an iPad version? I've got questions for that at the moment. What languages is it available in? Are there going to be more page types? Yes. One thing I threw in here, because it's something that is very important to me, is how it handles user data and privacy. So you can actually put things in here, like FAQs, that maybe they aren't questions. I mean, some of these are questions I get frequently, some of them are not, such as the data and privacy. But because that is something that you care about, and you feel it is something that is important, you put those sorts of questions in. It's almost like a little bit of leading on, but having that stuff in there helps the press realise, maybe that's important. Maybe if they down the line come up, maybe they'll remember that was in your press kit, and down the line if they're writing about data and privacy, maybe they'll come and look at your app again or something like that. Obviously, as always, be very much open of, if you want to get in touch with me, please do get in touch with me. I'm more than happy to. So that is the basic thing of the review guide. Now, what I have done that's somewhat special is that I've released it as a PDF. However, I have also put it into Coppice, where it shows all the same content, but you get about Coppice, you get contact info, you can see how Coppice works, pricing and availability, and you can actually go through the exact same review guide, see how it looks when it is in Coppice, and you are able to view it using this method of pages that expand out, which is just a little something I did. Like, not everyone can do this because you need an app that's able to do this, but it was just a little thing of see how the app can be used using the press kit. Right, so let's close that. And then finally, the most important thing to put in are screenshots and icons. So I have the app icon here, which is the highest resolution version of the app icon that I have. So I've thrown that in there. I have large screenshots showing the sample document. I've done this on both Catalina and Big Sur. Thankfully, I haven't had to really update these for 2022.1 because a lot of this, like visually, a lot of this stuff hasn't changed. I've stuck a big version of the MQ software logo in there in case they want it. And then I've done my standard screenshots, and I've done it in dark mode, both with and without a background, and light mode, both with and without a background. And for the one with the background, I've made sure there's lots of margin behind. I'm using the standard background, but lots of margin, so if they want to crop it down to fit on their site, maybe they want it to be narrower or taller or whatever, they have lots of space to adjust it. So you're basically trying to give them simultaneously the most flexibility but the least amount of work to do. So you just want to build this up where you've got the icons in, you've got a bunch of screenshots that are, like I say, if you can do it with a background, without a background, that works great. If you want to do it where you have a screenshot showing it like in, like on a device, like on an iPhone or on an iPad, also include ones that don't have the iPhone and the iPad so that they don't have to crop it out. If you want to include videos and stuff, that's great. If you want to include things such as videos of it actually in use, that is great. So basically just include stuff in, but think about, okay, how much work are they going to have to do to actually use this? The more work you can do to make their life easier, the happier they will be, the more likely they are to help you again in future. So that's great. And then finally there's writing your press release, and my press release is fairly basic format. It's just where you are, date, bit of information of what has happened, and then information about the new features, and then this stuff down here doesn't really change. It's literally just detailed list can be found here, what it runs on, all stuff. So it's the stuff that you can find in the press kit, but it's just throwing it in here as well. So that is basically how that works. You just get your press kit, you just zip it up, put it on the website and include it in any press releases, make it just easy for the press to use. So yeah, that is how you set up a press kit. Right, so with that, I need to get a drink. So I'm going to take a 2-minute break to refill my glass. And when we get back, we'll get back to messing around with this here, Streamline, and see what we can come up with. Probably removing some of these filters on there because I'm not sure I like them. But yeah, we will get back to this when I get back in a few minutes. Okay, I am back and have more refreshments. So, I've actually just remembered something. Megan, didn't I say I was going to show you Coppice and how I'd structured things and done the architecture next time that you were on the stream? Do you still want to see that and for me to show you roughly how things are architected? Hi Finite, how are you doing today? Happy Monday to you too. Okay, let's open up Xcode. I'm just going to hide the screen because I just want to make sure that I do not have the contract app open. Okay, I can show this again. So, let's do that. Oh, it's good to hear you're doing well, Fanny. I was actually extolling the virtues of your stream earlier to someone else as an example of some of the things that I'd like to do to make my own stream more interactive in future. I'm very much aware of like the only thing I have to do with channel points is really like redeem emotes and so on, so I'd like to make things a bit more interactive in future. But yeah, you've literally just missed by half an hour me releasing the update to my app Coppice, and it went live about 30 minutes ago, so we'll see how that does today. I've still got some more marketing to do, but I'm going to do that after the stream. I need to send out to the mailing list, but I'm going to be absolutely certain that that does not appear on stream because a mailing list full of user emails is very much user data and should not make its way out at all. Yeah, it feels pretty good, especially as I started, like my streaming journey really started with this release, so it's the first release I've built on stream, first one I've released on stream, so hopefully the first of many. So I'm going to show off the architecture of Coppice. And to do that, I'm going to actually shrink this down. I'm also going to get rid of that bar at the top, so we can have the chat up, but also see what things look like. So, how things are structured. We have our app delegate, and unlike the first app I made, it is only 263. My first ever app delegate for my first ever app contained pretty much the entire app and was like 4,000 lines of code. I have learned in the intervening nearly 2 decades not to do that. So what I have is, so the application launches, you have your document, because this is all document model, it's all AppKit stuff. And what that does is when it loads in, I have my model controller, I then have a document window view model, and then I have the document window controller which takes in that view model. So at the high level, when you have a Coppice document, you have the document which is like the core thing on disk, and it does the what's that? Does the reading and writing. Where are we? Reading and writing. Oh, it doesn't actually do that, but it's the point at which it does, and this is all AppKit stuff. And it also creates a window controller, because a document can potentially have multiple windows on it. Again, that's an AppKit thing. So that creates the document view model, and which is the view model for the entire window, and it creates the window controller, which is like a view controller effectively, but for Windows. So if I show you what these different things are, the model controller is literally just as it suggests, it's a model controller, and it uses my own setup for like creating collections and stuff like that, my own infrastructure. But it basically has things where you've got your page collection and you can create pages and delete them and duplicate them, and it's very much the raw model for everything. So it's like create, delete, and so on. It's your basic, effectively like your basic data store actions. The document window view model, on the other hand, is almost like the root view model for the app. So this contains everything for basically everything that the app needs to access. So, for example, it contains a model controller, but it also has a thumbnail controller, which is used for generating canvas thumbnails, the page image controller, and the page link controller, which are I believe the page image controller is yeah, that does image generation for pages. And it handles things such as what are the current inspectors, what is the current search string, because the inspectors appear globally for the window, the search string is global for the document, what is the selected item, so what is the item that is selected in the sidebar, is there a selected canvas, so it's like the overall state of the UI. What is the current editor? And we update it based upon the selection. When the selection changes, that changes. Let's see. Got the nav stack. I can't remember how that works or why that works. Where do I actually call this from? Callers. Oh, spring loading. So that is if I am here and I go there and it does spring loading and I drag that in, it can basically, if I go there to drag and then I hit escape, it restores the navigation back. So, and then it's a bunch of observations stuff for when things hook up, and then like helpers for new pages. So this is very useful because I have stuff like deleting stuff and creating pages and so on in here. Now I already have that in model control, so why do I need it here? Well, delete canvas is a great example. If I delete a canvas, it deletes the canvas and it does the undo redo. But the key thing is that there may be an alert that is needed. Now, if there isn't an alert needed, which should only really happen when the canvas is empty, it will just delete it. But if there is an alert, then we show the alert before we delete. So it's adding that additional UI in. Same here, alert for deleting items. So if a folder doesn't contain anything, in fact I can show this. If I create a folder, this doesn't contain anything. If I hit backspace, it just deletes it. But this one here, it shows an alert because there's something in it. If adding a page, so if I like Helvetica Neue here, I don't believe it's on a canvas, so I could just delete it and that's fine. But adding a page to a canvas, it's on a canvas, so we show an alert saying that it will also be removed from the canvas. So it's basically adding a layer on top, and the model control is your raw layer. The view model adds this stuff on top for almost the app specific stuff. there's also bits and pieces such as what is the folder for a new page. So you can create a new page. Actually, do I have? No. But so when you're creating a page, I believe you use the model controller, but you get the view model to find what is the canvas, because when you create a new page, if a canvas is selected, you want to create it on that canvas. So this actually uses the sidebar selection and the selected canvas ID to work that out. Same for a folder. Which folder should it go in? So it works out what the folder is, so you can just query these. The last created page type, so that is hooked up to the button up here. So if I create a new page, image page, you see it's updated this up here because clicking the button creates whatever the last page type you created was, or you can click and drag to actually create a different type. So the document view model is basically like, what is the global stuff? And then that goes into the document window controller. And the document window controller is basically just set up all the view controllers. These in turn, you got one for the where's the one? Got one for the sidebar. That is not visible on the stream. Put that up at the top. Got one for the sidebar. Canvas list view controller, which I believe covers just that. Got the editor container view controller, and then you got the inspector view controller. So basically the columns in there. And you notice that all of those have a view model, and they just do .init with a document view model. And these are all, for example, that is a sidebar view model, a canvas list view model, editor container view model, and these all take the document window view model. So much like the window controller is going to contain the view controllers, the view models for the view controllers have a reference to the document window view model. So if, for example, we look at the sidebar and we go in here, we set up a search string observer, and publisher for our search string, we update the sidebar. So when the search string changes on the document window view model, because that's a document level thing, we update the sidebar. And the reason we update the sidebar is that when you search, we change the sidebar, and when you get rid of it, we go back. So that updates that sort of things in the sidebar. And we have so what I have in the view model is at the view model, all the view models take a document window view model. They can all get a controller, and they have a setup method. And the setup is just any post initialization, and this basically just means that you don't have to override the init method if you don't need to. They also then take a view, and the view is just a protocol of things that are going to call up. And the reason I do it as a protocol is that I can then potentially unit test this more easily, because this is just going to be a protocol that I can implement a mock of in my tests and check that it has called these methods. What actually implements this is where is sidebar view controller. And we'll see here, this implements our display source list and display search results for search string methods as part of the view. And at the top here, that view model equals that view model, and so on. It just sets it up, sets the view to self, and then it's just a standard thing for view models where this will actually all call in. Now if you're doing Swift UI, this is obviously a similar thing, but it's your Swift UI view rather than the view controller that is doing all this stuff. But that's basically how I have it all set up, where you have your view controller, which is almost like it's classed as the view part of MVVM in this, which is an NS view controller, and it implements the protocol that's defined on the view model, and the view model itself talks to the document view model, which is for like the overall document, the overall window, and that in turn talks to the model controller, which is the core data layer of the app. So that's basically it. It's just like a structure going from high level to low level view all the way down to your model, and it's really how it works, because you've got model, view, MVVM, or model, view, model, and that's basically the core thing. You've got your model controller, which is the absolute basic thing. The view model is basically take the raw data and convert it into something that can easily be shoved into the view. Do I have a good example of? Well, actually, so you got the sidebar view model, which is fairly simple, but that's because it swaps out between source list and search results. So if I go to the source list view model, so what this is doing is it's going and looking for observers, page observers, folder observers, selection observers, stuff like that. And what it does is it converts these into these source list nodes. So the actual view controller, everything works in terms of source list nodes. So you delete source list nodes. You create pages under a source list node collection. Create page of type under that collection. You can drop files onto here, so can drop files onto source list node, drop files onto source list node. And if I go to source list view controller, what actually it may not be in there. Did I do a separate data source? Don't think so. So all that is doing, if I go here, data source. So for the number of children in the outline view, self view model, root source list node count. So I get the count, otherwise I convert it to a source list node and get the children. Because an outline view works differently to a table view. An outline view is basically what you do to do this sort of thing, where you have a nice structured thing. It's actually nicer to use than a nice table view. But you can check, let's see, get the children of items, so you get the source list and do the children. So this is all working in terms of this source list node, and this doesn't exist in the data model. The whole purpose of the view model is to translate between what is the data on this and what is the simplest representation here. And it's the whole purpose, as you probably well know, is to shove as much logic in the view model and abstract it from the view. And I have taken this to an extreme in one scenario. And this is the bit of architecture I am most proud of in the whole of Coppice, which is this canvas. All the canvas layout stuff, where you can click and drag. I can put stuff there, move stuff around. It will decide where to open things. I can resize and it goes down. I can move the viewport around and it constantly grows and shrinks the viewport, and all these different actions. I can hit the backspace key to delete and so on. So I can do all this stuff. All the code that powers this does not depend on AppKit. Actually displaying it does, but it does not require a view. And the power of that, firstly, I can fully unit test it. So I have an extensive test suite for all of this view stuff. The second thing is, I can have a different end product. I reuse the same layout engine for Quick Look, but rather than drawing views, it draws images. It draws it all straight to an image for use in Quick Look. I can potentially take that code, and I would have to change a few little bits where it I think it is using one or two like AppKit types, because like images and colors and so on. I'm not sure if that uses it, but other bits of the system do. But I could take that and get that working on iOS. Like this canvas thing, if I had like maybe a week or so, I could probably get the actual canvas thing working on iOS fully. The hard bit is actually getting the text stuff working, because NS Text View and UI Text View are very different. But the way that all works, if I bring up Coppice Core, is down here I have a layout engine. And we'll go to Canvas Layout Engine. I have all of this stuff here where I can pass in like a configuration, event context factory, all stuff like that. And it does all sorts of calculation stuff, and I basically add these layout engine pages. So I convert from the pages that I have in the data model to these layout engine pages, and this works on layout engine pages. And when you get them back, it returns them back, and these have things such as, is the page enabled? Is it being editing? What is the Z index? Should it be showing the background? Is it selected? What is the content frame of it? What are the parents? What are the children? And all stuff like this. And what all this stuff lets me do is that all the view has to do is get all this stuff, and is it selected? Okay, I'm going to draw the selected thing. Where do I draw it? Well, I just get the content frame and convert it to the correct coordinates using, I believe, convert point to canvas space, and it returns it all back and gets it all set up. So it's all pretty powerful, pretty great, but it's also abstracting away all the events. So here we are, down event. So rather than NS event, I have down event at location with modifiers, and I've got these layout event modifiers here, and event count. And this is all completely abstracted away. Now I've named it as a mouse event, but this could be a touch event on iOS. So you get down, dragged up. There's a move event. I've got key events here as well. So again, it's all abstracted away. And these all then get sent to these event contexts, which actually do all the actual moving. So, where is it? I have a factory somewhere. Layout engine event context factory. So this takes the stuff and determines, okay, what exact event do I need? And then it funnels it to them and it makes it work. And this is all completely unit tested. So where are we? That hasn't run through the whole test, but when it runs through the whole test, Coppice Core is about 90% coverage. I think that's because I did a UI test last time, so it doesn't run through the whole thing. But for the unit test, it's about 90% coverage, so it's really powerful. Alright. So hopefully that has been useful to you, understanding how I've done MVVM. I'm not claiming to be like an expert on it or to be doing it the right way, but it's the way that works for me, and seems to be pretty good. So hopefully it gives you some inspiration for things to do, things not to do. Right, let's have a look. Oh, Finite, if you're still there, how's setting up the Stream Deck going? Have you managed to get everything into is it StreamerBot that you're using? Have you managed to get everything transferred over there yet, or is it still an ongoing process? Hey. Oh, it's going quite well. That's good to hear. Do you want to see how I've actually got mine set up? Because I can always show you. It's a bit easier showing you on stream if you want to see how mine's configured for various actions and so on. Have a look. Okay, so I'll go configure Stream Deck. So this is my main page that I have set up, and I have it set up at the moment. At the top is my mute stuff. I also have below. I only really have 4 scenes. The starting soon screen I don't have a button for because I never go to that. This one here is bringing to this particular screen, and this will take you to Be Right Back. Now these don't have like if you use the OBS scene thing, they can actually light up as to which is the current one. These don't have that because they're multi-actions, because for example Be Right Back is set up to go to the scene, mute my microphone, and then bring up my sleeping bot avatar. And same here, this one should unmute my audio. I have buttons set up for my sidebar, hiding my secret thing, and then this. And then here I have show the iPad, and I think these are all well, those ones are just showing the source. This one is a multi-action because I'm showing 2 different sources, because I have 2 different effects going on. One fades it in, one transitions in, and one slides in, or that fades, that slides when I switch between the iPad and not. Let's see, what else do I have? This one here shows my Twitch view account. That's just part of the Twitch one. I have buttons here for switching between my avatars. So the top one is basically just takes me to what you see now, and then I've actually shifted the rest into here. So when I press this, it takes me into a folder where I can now switch between all my different avatar states. And I can go back up and switch back. About the multi-action with a switch, there's a way to check the current. So there isn't a way to check the current status. So if I was to actually make the iPad visible in OBS, it hasn't actually, let's see if I can shift that. You see, it isn't actually lit up. So that is something that it would be nice to have. It's something that I wish with OBS, like for example here with the icon, it would be nice if you could have a multi-action and say pull the icon from here, because if I was to like drag out scene and change this to main screen, you see that it's lit up. But if I change it to Be Right Back, it's not lit up because it's not what is actually selected. So it's a feature request. I think I may have even put the feature request in. Just saying, for a multi-action, can I just like pick the icon from something in here? Because it would be really useful for doing exactly what you want. because outside of a multi-action it can pull the status, but otherwise it can't. That's one of your concerns. The orange board can do checks. Yeah, it's something that it would be nice if it could do that. It doesn't affect me too much like the iPad thing because it's configured correctly. Like you can just, if it gets out of sync, you just click a few things in OBS to sync it up again. Let's see, what else do I have in here? Actions, okay. Stream marker, which I don't actually use that much. Prepare. All this does, this one, is it calls an Apple script, and the Apple script calls a shortcut. Because this is where I've gone on a massive automation kick. Where a shortcut here, which quits all the apps I don't want to open when I'm streaming, opens the apps that I do, opens a few things, waits a minute, and then rearranges all the windows on my desktop so that OBS and ViadoTube and everything is in the correct place. Go live. I have it so I can press a button, and what it will do is it switches to the starting soon screen, mutes my mic, switches to the sleeping avatar, waits a bit, tells OBS to start streaming and recording, waits 15 seconds, and then it puts out a tweet on my account, and then it waits about 5 minutes, and then we'll put out a tweet on my Coppice account. So I can literally press the button to go live and step away for 10 minutes, which I usually do to go make a cup of tea and stuff before sitting down. And once I've pressed that button, everything just automates going through. Same with buy. I tell it to go to thanks for watching, deactivate my mic, wait for 15 seconds, and then tell OBS to stop. Then, after a 10-second delay, there's then another script that runs my end streaming shortcut, which then reopens all the apps that were closed and does that. So that's some of the automation. But as I said before, Stream Deck is a lot more than just streaming. This is just one page. The Xcode button down here is basically taking me to the next page, and I have various things here. The GitHub one is basically just letting me get to my GitHub notifications and PRs and issues quickly. But I have things such as this one, the playground button, quickly opens up my main Swift playground. If I open up Coppice project, so you can see the breakpoint button here. This is something that is really useful, especially on the when you're doing Mac apps. Oh, where's that not? Where's that not acting that? Oh, does it have to be running? Open. Where has that? Like a Stream Deck. Okay, let's try quitting. Never had that break before. Okay. There we go. So now these buttons are working. If I tap the one that looks like a breakpoint, you can see it's enabling and disabling breakpoints. And that is fantastic when, if you've got some breakpoints set up, you don't want them to like fire when you're launching the app. You only want them to fire afterwards. Normally you have to like switch back to Xcode, disable them, launch the app, and then wait until it's finished launching and then switch back and enable them. Now you can just do that without switching back. You can also pause and continue, or bring up the view debugger. And so these three are actually using an Xcode plugin that someone's written for Stream Deck. And then the others are actually just calling hotkeys. So there's one where if I go to a nib, for some reason the latest version of Xcode don't always show the sidebar, so I've got one there. I have what would be a good one to do? Yeah, can drop files. The callers one just does a hotkey that does find callers for me. Edit scheme brings up the edit scheme stuff. Derived data calls a script of mine that opens the derived data for the current project, so I've got that all set up. And then Photoshop, these are all just things I've thrown in, so rotate, flip, increase, decrease brush size and stuff like that. I haven't really invested as much time into these as I have for Affinity Designer, where I have the bottom row. You can actually switch between different personas. Then you can switch like view modes with these ones here. And then at the top, I'd spent so long doing all these icons and everything. So for arrange, I can bring things to the front or the back with hotkeys. I can align them all up, and these are all just hotkey ones. But I can do distribute, space, align. I can fill and swap the fill and all stuff like that. Do different geometry things, different transforms, so rotate and flip. And most of these icons is just a Photoshop thing where I've just basically stolen SF symbols and thrown them in with a label. So yeah, that's what I do. Oh, there's actually one more thing, which is when I switch to Firefox, I go to Roll20 mode. And this is a lot of fun because I can switch between, again, these are mostly just hotkeys. So I can switch between the different layers. I can move stuff to the layers by doing the text one. Switch between different controls. I can go to the chat, again, just using hotkeys. But when I'm in the chat, I can have it type something in. So these are all the characters. You got dice and stuff. And then when you go in here, this is the coolest thing. I've got a dice roller that uses Roll20's dice roller. And what it does is when you're in the chat, I tap one of these, and this is a command in Roll20 that will basically say roll and then show an alert prompting for the number of dice. So I can tap D10, 5, and if I actually bring up, it won't actually roll the dice, but if I do this and just tap, say, D10, it does that in, and then I could do 5, and it writes 5. And all it's doing is typing in information, and then it hits enter afterwards. But I can just do, like, if I'm rolling fireball damage, I'd just do D6, 8, and then it rolls the damage for me in Roll20. So that's how far I've gone with automating my various things with Stream Deck. So there's way more that I can do, and I probably will do. But yeah, the Stream Deck is just, it's so much fun. I've been so impressed with it, both the hardware and the software. It's probably one of the best things I've bought in the past year or two. I'm very, very impressed with it and can not recommend it highly enough. So hopefully that's giving you a few ideas, showing you how a few things work. But the other thing that's actually quite cool that I haven't taken advantage of is when you get all your plugins, but there are also huge numbers of icons that you can install, but they also have stream-friendly music and sound effects, and there's a full library of them that you can just download and use on your streams, which is quite cool. But yeah, that's how I have my Stream Deck set up. Alright, let's get back to... Alright, so you're going to have a playlist, duration, checkbox whether or not it shuffles, switching behavior and ending action. So, do we want... Not entirely sure what I want to do with this UI, whether I want everything to be inline or not. I suppose what I could do is have a switch that point regular. Actually, no, don't. Ah, we want playlist. Full. Transition. This will be right aligned. Across and left up. And what we want to do, playlist on, yes, transition be song, and the end action go to get some inspiration here. So, got all this stuff here. What if let's grab that and drag that details, and what we want is which is fine. Because what we can do, openness of symbols. So paste that in, and I hate how it constantly switches to myriads when you do that. So throw 2, 6. Let's just create a second one. Now, make this blue is that color. Like that. Well, it's 2. Shuffle. Oh. Option B. Crossfade. Well, that's certainly one option. Not a particularly great option, so we'll call that option 1. Let's drag down and try option 2, which I've just thought up. So what we're going to do is delete that and delete the divider. Playlist. Text, or is it right? Display, I think. Display. Let's keep it as text. The OS sorts out which one it is. One of them is meant to be optimized for smaller font sizes. Right, I'm going to center that. And below it is going to say playlist 1. That is going to bit just to get as that. Or could. Well. Playlist. Or. And action. So that could work. Maybe. Drag that across. Copy. Over. Get rid of those two. Drag the whole thing over. Over. All that. Main. New playlist 2. Shuffle. Yes. Position. Crossfade. And action. 8. Because I think what we'd probably have is in the top. Is probably small. Probably have it where you click on that and it switches to an edit mode, because what I want is you to be able to click on these, get to them. It's just a question of whether we show the details. I mean, maybe it's just a visual option. Some people want to see the details, some people don't. Because when you click on this, I'd probably have a popover appear and that would let you choose the playlist, choose the shuffle, choose the transition and the end action. Well, for starters, I've aligned those wrong. Just take this, see what a collapsed version look like. That's... Well, I'm just... Those, and then... Close enough. Vertically sent. Add the others, that seem... a bit small. I mean, I suppose option 3 is make it just like shortcuts. Don't have the details. And then you just have button there. And would why is that setting height as okay. Go on. Okay, 180. So you do it something like that. Like, bearing in mind these are going to be fairly, these can be short or they can be long, but you just basically have a minimum thing there. And I suppose I wonder. At 200. That intro. Get this regular. Playlist. Then you could have I did SF thinking is, what if you had icons? What that? You'd have those as set of icons. These could go here, and the icons here would be we've got shuffle. Add this for crossfade, and then Pete. X. Oh, you on? What?
Casted of inclusion's warm embrace, peering from a solitary space. The sting of rejection leaves its scars upon my face. I will run, I will fall.
So maybe something like that. If I go here and make that 202, I can take playlist and so you have icon representations. And what you can do is either like click just to toggle shuffle, or when you hover over you can see like there'll be a list that appears that you can click on. Same for there, because I mean, if we, what transitions are there? So the transitions will be end song, skip, or crossfade. We'll have to come up with like better icons. And actions will be stop, go to C, and Pete. Problem with icons is icons are terrible. Like icons without text. Like the shuffle one, fine. But the transition and the action, we really want text. but it means that we don't need to pop over, edit them, and it's something that you can learn. And visually it says it looks better, but is it as usable? Especially if the whole point is you're meant to be able to just like quickly go and click on them potentially. This is leaving it open to actually changing things. And it gets a bit confusing because you're going to have an icon here that you'll be able to set. So you've got icons there. I mean, do you even need that information once you've set it up? Probably not. I think it's probably at the point where I need to go and ponder a bit. So, I mean, we started an hour early. So, as we've got a lot done today, I think we will end the stream there. Because, I mean, we've got a blog post written, we have got an app released, we've done a bunch of additional discussions about various things, and we've got all of this design work started. So I think I will call the stream there because I've still got some stuff to do for the launch before I can go grab food and relax for the evening. So yeah, we will pick this up again 6 PM UK time on Wednesday and do some more on this, try and get things working, because we also need some stuff at the top just for the actual stream info and to be able to do the whole customization stuff. But yeah, I think this has been a fairly productive stream and a fairly productive day, and the end of the first chapter of my streaming journey. Coppice is, like, 2022.1 is now released, and we get to spend time working on Streamline and working then on the stream itself, with me learning some stuff over the next few weeks before getting back into Coppice. So, as always, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Monday. I hope you have... Oh, hi Silent Assassin. You've just managed to come back in just as we're about to finish the stream up. In fact, let me have a quick look. Is there anyone to raid? Because there's nobody online at the moment that I can see. Not who I follow. I don't know if you have any recommendations to for people to raid potentially. Have a look. Problem is, everyone seems to be ooh. This could be a fun one to raid, just for the fun of it, and I think some of the people in chat will enjoy this. Someone here I've just found, a VTuber plugin development, RGB Twitch integration. What do you think, Sinister and Silent Assassin? Do you want to go raid someone who's working on VTuber stuff? Oh, seeing that Bush is a cool sculptor. Let's have a look. Twitch pre-roll ads are so annoying when you just want to check someone out to go raid them. Have a look. Let's go try the VTuber, unless there's any game devs or devs around. There's Rust. What do we have? Unity. Unity. Let's go raid this Professor Tiberius and have a look. Right, so let's start this raid going. So, as I was saying, I want to thank you all for coming in and joining me today, and how successful this stream has been. In fact, I've just realised, check off release Coppice, because Coppice has been released. So, I will talk to you all hopefully on Wednesday at around 6 PM, and we will see how this progresses with Streamline, and hopefully how Coppice's release progresses. So thank you all for coming, and as always, happy coding.